What if I told you that everything you know about human history is a lie? That the pyramids, the Roman Empire, the Renaissance, none of it ever happened. Imagine for a moment a world where our entire civilization is just 200 years old. A world that began not millions of years ago, but in 1824. This isn't a story of slow, gradual evolution. It's a chaotic, explosive saga of humanity's sudden appearance on a planet that was still under construction. Let's rewind to the year we now call 1824. Across the globe, small groups of people simply appeared, out of nowhere. They were scattered across what would become the major continents. Fully formed adults with innate knowledge of language, mathematics, and science, but with zero historical memory. They had no idea where they came from, no relics of ancestors, and no sense of cultural heritage. It was as if they had woken up from a dream they couldn't remember. And the world they awoke to was just as bewildering. The landscape itself was half-baked. Mountains would suddenly thrust themselves up from flat plains. Rivers would carve new paths every few years. Entire forests could sprout seemingly overnight. This new Earth was a dynamic, unpredictable canvas, constantly reshaping itself. These first inhabitants, our true ancestors in this timeline, faced an urgent race against time. At first, they lived in primitive camps. Their settlements looked like something out of a prehistoric documentary: mud huts, rough tents, and tools chipped from whatever stones they could find. But the chaotic nature of the planet turned out to be a bizarre advantage. The constant geological upheaval brought resources right to the surface. Massive deposits of coal, iron, and other strange new minerals appeared as if on demand. This incredible abundance fueled a technological explosion unlike anything we can fathom. Within a single generation, they leaped from stone tools to steam engines. It was as if the planet itself was pushing them forward, providing exactly what they needed for each new invention, right when they needed it. The pace was breathtaking. Necessity wasn't just the mother of invention. It was the entire family tree. By the end of the first century, just 100 years after their sudden appearance, humanity had achieved feats that should have been impossible. They built towering cities with structures that would rival our own modern skyscrapers. Fleets of airships, powered by newly discovered energy sources, crisscrossed the skies. And most astonishingly, they had already developed the first forms of artificial intelligence. Their world was a strange paradox. Gleaming cities pulsed with neon signs and holographic displays, while just a few hundred miles away, other settlements looked like ancient ruins. It was the future and the past coexisting in a single surreal moment. What's even stranger is that technological progress wasn't a straight line. There was no clean transition from steam to electricity to digital. Instead, different technologies emerged spontaneously and in parallel. One city might be entirely powered by the sun. Another, across an ocean, might have harnessed geothermal energy. Some even seemed to power their machines with forces that felt more like magic than science, tapping into elemental energies from the volatile planet. Each civilization hub developed its own unique, isolated tech tree. You could travel from a gleaming, chrome-plated metropolis to a city that looked like it was carved from a single giant crystal, all within the same world. This created a beautiful but fragmented global society. Of course, the inhabitants of this young world were haunted by one question: where did we come from? Without a history, without a past, they were adrift. Theories were everywhere. Were they part of some grand cosmic experiment? The creations of an advanced alien race? Or perhaps the subjects of a divine intervention? No one had any answers. All they knew was the relentless drive to build, to create, to innovate. They were desperate to leave their mark, to build monuments and legacies for a future generation they hoped would have more answers than they did. In this version of Earth, even time itself felt different, more fluid. Historians are the closest equivalent in this world, spent their lives searching for clues. The most popular theory was that their 200-year-old civilization wasn't the beginning of the story, but the end of a much older one. That they were the survivors of some great forgetting, a civilization whose memory had been wiped clean from existence. But if there was a world before them, it remained a complete mystery, a ghost haunting the edges of their reality. Every artifact they created, every city they built, was a testament to their own existence, a defiant shout into the void of their forgotten past. In a world just 2 centuries old, humanity's ability to build a complex, vibrant, and technologically advanced society from nothing is its greatest achievement. It's a story of incredible resilience and creativity, but it's also their most tantalizing and terrifying mystery. Because if your entire history is a blank page, how do you know what to write on the next one? It makes you wonder about our own timeline, doesn't it? Are we really sure we know where we came from? Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into an alternate history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more mind-bending stories. See you next time.